Hey guys, Jeff Sokol here with Earthcraft Permaculture. Are these not the prettiest little onions you've ever seen? I'm gonna show you exactly how I do this, exactly what I had, and it's so simple and it tastes so good. It makes a great addition to any meal and make your head spin. I have something growing in my garden that is an absolute gift, and it's so abundant. And you plant one, and it multiplies itself over and over and over again, very very rapidly, and that's called shallots, green onions, white bunching onions, whatever you want to call them. And we eat the greens. We use the greens when we need them for certain things in place of chives or whatever. And and let me tell you, you take one of these things and cut the green top off and stick it anywhere in the ground, and it'll pop you up 10, 20, 50, 100, of additional onions off of one. Okay? Depending, of course, how long you leave it in the ground, your soil, all that great stuff. But here's what they look like. They look like this in my garden coming out of a winter. It's so we just had, we had some freezes and stuff like that, and these things are not 100% immune to 28 degrees. So we had some brown leaves and whatnot, and but it's getting springtime, so they're starting to flower. You can see these buds right here. Well, every one of these I planted from a single onion that I cut the top off of, and I stuck it in the ground. And what happens? The same thing that happens when you plant any other onion that's it's already got a bulb on it. You you make more onions. So this one right here has a very unique property to it, that whenever you cut it and stick one in the ground, it'll make this one, and then this one will turn into 5, just like this, and then this will turn into 50, just like this. So this takes place over the course of a year or so, that to get this large. It can happen a little bit faster or take a little bit longer than that, like I said, depending on your ground. But when you stick it in the ground in the course of a week, it's gonna, you stick it in the ground, looks like this. In the course of a week, here you go, it's already grows another inch. So they're very fast growing. Here's another one I planted in the ground at the same time as that last one, and I edge all my gardens in these things. Okay, all you got to do is split them apart and stick them in the ground. So whenever you pull one apart, you plant one, it makes a bunch. You harvest that one, you take two and plant two off of that one big old bunch that you just harvested, and you're multiplying these onions all the time. And really, if you continue to do it that way, pretty soon you're gonna have a lot more onions than you can than you can reasonably eat on your property. And they're very good for you. They taste absolutely amazing, especially if you have good compost-rich organic soil with lots of minerals and vitamins in it. Then it'll taste even better for you. These have a very strong flavor, and we cook them and turn them. We wrap them up in foil, and after I cut them up and they look like that, you notice I cut the greens off of them and I cut the roots off of them. I take these roots and I replant the roots. So I take them like this and I wrap them up in foil, and I put this Maggie in the foil with that, and I just kind of soak them in it. And I wrap that foil up tight, and I put it on the barbecue pit with whatever meat we're cooking, and along with the zucchinis or whatever else we're eating from the garden that day. And it makes an absolutely wonderful addition. And so what I like to do, I'll take that stuff, and it's so good, man. I'm having it tonight. So I made all this stuff, took all these pictures this afternoon, because this is what I'm cooking tonight for my family. Then I took those roots, and I went out to a little corner way out in the back, on the edge of the woods, where I planted some mint the other day. And as you can see, I just pull up mint root, and I started planting that root around, and you can see it right here. Here's some mint, and so I took these shallots and I started just these roots, and I planted them all around the perimeter of this little mint garden here. And that's going to be really good, because those are going to come up and kind of protect that mint from anything that might want to get after. The rabbits don't really like the smell of the onions, so they'll kind of avoid that area. I also plant, I've got these edging all my gardens. You can see right here, they're in this little trellis garden. They're locking down the perimeter around this garden here. I've got my tomatoes coming up here. You see these little tomato plants right here. They're all coming up in this in my taller garden, and the stuff that's left over, this is coming after a winter where we had some freezers, so they had some dead stuff on there. I didn't want to eat it, so you know what? It goes right back in the compost pile. My worms don't like onions, so I'm not going to put them in the worm bin. I put them in the compost pile. It's great nitrogen for the compost pile, so that'll work great. And like I said, guys, these things right here, you plant one, it turns into this, which turns into this, and they're super abundant. And you end up, all you have to do is cut those tops off, peel off any little outer layers that might have dirt on them or whatever, those little outer skins to the onions, and take those roots, and you can replant those roots outside, and just have onions growing wherever you want onions to grow. And man, talk about a really good addition to any meal that you're having. So anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. I want you to be encouraged to get out there and get some green onions, get some shallots, get some white bunching onions, or scallions, or whatever you guys might call them. And I want you to keep growing. Y'all take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.